Of Shmuel, Samuel, and it's chapter 1, verse 24. Until this point, what's happened is Chana had a baby. Shmuel was born. She was taking care of him until he was weaned, and she told Elkanah that when she is ready to bring the baby up to the Shiloh, then she will go, and she's just waiting for the boy to be weaned. And the husband agrees with her, says, do whatever is right in your eyes. And so now we come to that. We're 2 years later. And it says, Vataleu ima, she brought him up with her. Ka'asher gamalatu, when she weaned him. And not only that, but she brought the parim shlosha ve'efa acha kemach v'nevel yayin. She brought 3 bulls, an ephah of, and it's a measure of meal, and an earth. Oh, that's interesting. They want to say an earthware jug of wine. Okay. Vatvieu beit Hashem Shiloh, and she brought him to the house of Hashem in Shiloh. Na'ar. That's an interesting thing. The young man was a young man.
What?
Na'ar, and the young man was a young man.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. So.
What is that supposed to tell us?
Good question.
Because they're translating it in child was young.
Right. So.
So in other words, if you say a nar, there's a range. From a younger child to an older child, is that what they're saying?
A na'ar,
a younger child.
Right. So a na'ar, by the way, could be a 55-year-old.
In other words, an unlearned person.
No. A na'ar is somebody who is subservient to somebody else. In the case of,
like a Chacham could be a young person.
Yeah, but I want to say in the case of Moshe and Joshua was 55 years old. And they call him the Na'ar. So it's because he was under Moshe.
Okay.
All right, like an arms bearer.
He would be like a child to him.
Okay, you could say that, but it's also that it's just saying somebody's subservient to somebody else. Okay. But in this case, the Na'ar was a Na'ar. He was a boy, and so
maybe their translation is good. He was a young child.
Right. Right. And what he wants to say was, he had grown up fine. Okay. So now, what happens is, Matsudas David says, why did she bring so many things? She brought 3 cows, or 3 bulls, whatever they want to say, cows, 3 bulls. Im shalosh parim l'zvoch Hashem, with the 3 cows or bulls to sacrifice to Hashem, v'hakemach menachot, and also the flour, what we translate meal, was for the menachot, the mincha offerings, v'hayayin, and the wine was for nesachim, the libations. V'taviyehu, she brought the boy, v'na'ar roch limor. So what does it mean? V'anar odenu na'ar katan v'varach. The Matsudas David explains that it means when you say na'ar, a young man, it means he was still very young, small and soft. In other words, he was just, he wasn't yet even
3 or 4 years old?
Right, 2.
2?
2 or 3, 2 or 3.
Just weaned.
Yeah. So it's usually 2 years, he's weaned.
Yeah,
okay. And with all this, Lo nimna'am elaviu ka'ashir gamalatu. She did not refrain from bringing him when he was weaned. So normally you would think that the mother is going to say, no, it's too early, I can't let my baby go. And nonetheless, she made a neder, and now she's willing to fulfill her neder. And so that's one thing. Then you have Malbim also talks about this. The young man was a young man. Shem na'ar nigzar min ba'al na'ar kamo ne'or monkadsho. So he's looking at the word na'ar, and he says it's from the verb of ne'or, to awaken. as it says, Yikra Na'ar al Sha'ara V'Yitchilu Kochotav, which means that his powers of nature were just beginning. V'ya Musriyam L'Torir L'Or L'Seid Min HaKoach El HaPa'al, and it was being, you go from power, from strength to action. And that's why it says this young man was a na'ar. Kavanato, its intent is to say sheni uro, that he was awakening. Everything was awakening. Az kavar kochot seichlo. That's when his powers of intelligence, umidotav, and his traits. V'hidchil haskil hagam shaya gemul mechalav, and he started to become enlightened also. Taskim l'zekabal chachmeinu shahora az halacha b'shchiyat aparim. So much so that he was already teaching halacha. Okay, we learned that in Shchita Aparim. He was teaching halacha. So we have this 2-year-old who's, I think today we call him very precocious. And he's already giving halachot, so it's good when a 2-year-old will give you halachot. Okay, he's what would you call him? A savant today, right? Is that no savant?
Precocious.
Precocious is one thing, but also that he's a genius. So we called him Eli. So is savant only a specific thing that he's smart in, or savant is?
I think so.
Okay, so it's not that. So apparently he's very good. Fine. So that's how the Malbim wants it. He says, and here the English, the guy says, the trouble is quick-witted and discerning. That's what he wants to say. Okay. So v'yishchatu et apar, and they slaughtered the bull. V'yaviu et hanar el Eli, and they brought the boy to Eli. So the Sudas David says, Kashir shachtu apar rishon. After they slaughtered the first bull, heviu et hanar, they brought the boy to Eli. Haroto, to show him, kabla tfilato, that his prayers were accepted. As he said, Hashem will fulfill your request, and here she's presenting the boy. That is, the Malbim says, they slaughtered the bull. This was before the sprinkling of the blood, and then they brought the boy to Eli. The Remez, as a hint, K'moshe Aviu et Apar Korban Lashem, to say, just as they brought the bull as a sacrifice and offering to Hashem, Kain hi hana'ar kalil Hashem la'avod l'sharet. So also this boy is considered totally for Hashem, to serve and two types of service, to serve by giving karbanot and to serve Hashem in other ways. So she's saying, so Malbim is saying a very interesting twist on this. He's saying, what's the juxtaposition between the bull and the child? The bull, just as the bull is offered to Hashem as an offering, so also this boy is given to God at this point. So again, she's not taking him home after 2 years old. She's not going to take him home. She's going to leave him with Eli. He's apparently walking and talking, like it says, because she's giving halacha out already. So I guess he still has to change diapers. But when are you out of diapers? Not till 3 or 4?
2 or 3.
2 or 3?
Between
2 or 3. He could be potty trained already. Okay, fine. Baruch Hashem, I no longer have that memory.
Repressed.
Repressed memory. Okay. No, I seem to remember that kids last longer. Like some of these kids here, they're still in diapers. So I don't know. I don't know how that works anymore. Oh, but the truth is now you have pull-ups. They never had this in the old days. Pull-ups.
Oh.
And there's the diapers that they wore cloth diapers. So, yeah. But today you have Pampers. Now we keep the kids in the pull-ups, so they can stand pull-ups till.
That's why they're already somewhat older,
right?
Even if you buy the Pampers for the babies, it's like cloth. It's just got the little Velcro thing.
Right.
It's got to pull the thing up, the triangular.
I remember when my father saw Pampers. on TV, advertised on TV, and
Yeah.
he said, "You guys have it so easy." He said when he used to have to change diapers, there was a pins, and he was always afraid of sticking them, so he stuck himself instead. He said, "You're kidding." I felt a meat cut. I mean, but he's used to being cut. So, but he said, "Oh, you guys have such an easy trick." Yeah. Vatomer, so what happens? Vatomer, and she said, "Bi Adoni, please my master, Chen Nafshecha, as your soul lives, my master. Ani Isha, and it's I am the woman that was standing with you in this, Litpalel El Hashem, to pray to Hashem." So what's the obvious question in that sentence? I'll say it again. The woman said, "Please, my master, as your soul lives, my master, I am the woman that was standing with you in this, to pray to Hashem." What's the question there?
Well, she's identifying herself already after the initial fact that he thought she was a drunkard, and she's not bringing that up.
Well, right. Now this is the second year, though. So, but what's in that sentence? What word is not necessary?
Oh.
Again, you have to look at the Hebrew. I don't think they say it here. No, as a matter of fact, in this translation, they skipped the word.
The Adoni twice?
Nope. Bazeh. What does it mean? I was a woman standing with you in this. What in this what? If you look at the Hebrew, Vatomer bi Adoni, and she said, "Please, my master, Chen Avshech Adoni, as your soul lives, my master. Ani ha'isha, I am the woman, Hanisevet imcha, that was standing with you, Bazeh, in this."
Wait, was standing with you?
In the, it should have just said, "I was standing with you, Litpalel El Hashem, to pray to Hashem." What's Bazeh in this? What is that Bazeh coming to teach you?
Standing here with you.
Bazeh.
In this, on this?
In this what?
In this place?
You have to put a word in. You're putting a word in. You're giving a translation. You understand? You understand that? That's why in this English translation, they don't even say it. All it says is, as surely as your soul lives, my Lord, I am the one who was standing here before you to pray to the Lord. With you to pray to the Lord. That's all it says. So the question is, what is Bazeh? So, and then you could also say, why should you say, "Please, my Lord"? That's another one. He says, so Rashi says, "Bi Adoni, letet einecha alecha she'er talmidcha." Let it please my master, let it be given to your eyes that he should be your student, and that my child should be your student. The Fia Midrash says, and that he shouldn't be, you shouldn't have him killed. Why should he be killed? Because, as we said, he was already teaching halacha. He taught a halacha in front of Eli. If you teach a halacha in front of your Rebbe, then you're a chayav mita. Then you're obligated to die. Now, obviously, it's not. We're not going to we won't be putting people to death, but it's a very severe punishment. So she's praying to him, "Please, my master, don't have this child put to death because he was giving halacha in front of you. Make him your Talmud. Make him your student." Okay? And that's one way to look at it. Then, Masudas David says, "Bi Adoni, please my master, B'kash me alai, I have a request from me, V'yuto b'chay nafsho, and swear by the life of his soul, L'sum'eno al nar, that he should put his eye on the boy." And she says, "One was standing, Amarati po biotcha gamani gamatayo shepo. I was standing here, you were sitting there. Kamosha ketuva alai, lamala, like says above, that Eli was sitting down." Okay, that's another way. So she's giving identification. I'm the one, remember 2 years ago? Fine. Then the Malbim says on this, Vatomer, she said, V'ashir chashasha. Now, the Malbim develops this a little more. She says, because she was suspect, Pen lo yaveh Eli the kavlo. Maybe Eli would not want to accept responsibility for the boy. Velisa torach gedulo v'emunato ad emuno ad yigdal, and maybe he didn't want to have the trouble to bring him up until, so she would say, take him until you grow up. Who wants a 2-year-old hanging around? Okay, we're all old people here. We don't want the little kids hanging around. It's not a place for little kids. So she's saying to him, maybe he's going to say that, therefore, she said in a bakasha, in a request, please, my master, Malaysia elati zo, fulfill my request. Take this boy, and put your eye on him. In other words, watch him. Mikama ta'amim, for many reasons. One, kianaras and all yaday tefillah should palalti bebenas v'baydas v'natana lo al ze gimel simanim. Why? What's the reason you should watch him? Because this boy was born through the tefillah that I prayed in this house, and it was given to. And so now she gives him 3 signs to prove this. One, she said, daven to Hashem, that the prayer was different from all the other prayers that were conducted in those days. It was below MC. Because if you remember, Eli, I was the one who was davening to Hashem without an intermediary. So if so, and if so, since the boy was born through the tefillah of the Kohen of Makom Nivcha in this chosen place, Roy Lamod Lifnei Kohen of Abaydas. So then it's fitting for the boy to be brought up in the place of the Kohen in this house. 2, Shalitato Loya Be'inyan Tivai, that this birth was not a natural birth. Rather, it was only through a complete miracle. Because sometimes you have a woman who is childless, who becomes pregnant in the matters close to nature. For who sheyishtaneh teva. And what happens? They change the nature so that the person be fitting to give birth. But that's not my case. Because I'm the woman who was standing before you. I was standing before you. There was no change. Nothing happened to my body that was different. Ad Shiomar, until he said, until he would say that there was something fixed in me. And so that's another proof that Hashem was the only one who's doing it. So that's proof that the child was already considered man of God from the womb. So that's her second reason. And now we're going to come to the third reason, if we have to go back to the pasuk for this. And it says, Elana'ar hazeh. So, by the way, the answer for bazeh is in this corner. I was davening in this corner, you were davening in that corner.
I was saying bazeh, the word, they left another word out. I was thinking in this place.
Correct, like Bill was suggesting. In this place, in this corner, bezaviot. Okay, so whatever it's going to be, that's why they had to use the word bezeh. Next verse. Elanarazeh, and this boy, hit palalti, I davened for, v'yitin Hashem li, et she'elati, and Hashem gave me my request, she'alti meimo, that I asked from him. So the Malbim continues, the third reason. I'll give you another proof that this child was born in a miraculous manner through the power of tefillah. I daven for this boy, for who she is zachar, she is zer anashim, that he would be a male and he would be the seed of a man, a gavar beguvim zera muvlash ben anashim. Okay, until he'd be fitting to stand in the temple of the king. Mikra, if this was happenstance, and if you're going to say that this was all happenstance, how is it possible that everything happened in all its small things of the how do you say that? In all its particulars. All particulars. So it has to be from. In other words, if you want to tell me there was happenstance, it was luck, I had a baby, so not everything would work out. You'd have one thing but not the other. But here, everything I davened for came true. So it must be that this is from Hashem. So that's the third reason that I want you, according to the Malbim, that's the third reason she gave him, to bring up the baby. Okay. And Rashi says, Ilana Razeh. Remember, Rashi's going on the thing that he told Halacha. So, so do not say, so don't tell me that, since this is a boy I davened for, so don't tell me, so we can put this one to death because he acted impertinently. And God will give you another one. Don't tell me that. I'm not interested in hearing that. Because you could always say that, right? One miracle, God did one miracle, he can do another miracle too. No big deal. So don't tell me that. And Shmuel David says, this boy that I daven for, there's a boy that I daven for. So tefillah shed palalti az haytelish she'elei bein. That the prayer I davened was that I would give birth to a boy. And this is who I gave birth to. Fine. So that she's giving him the whole story as to why she thinks that he should bring the baby. And also I, hish iltihu Lashem, I am lending him. Is that how she wants to say it? Lending him. I am causing him to be lent. He is borrowed. Okay, lending him by. He is being borrowed. How does he say? He is borrowed by the Lord. Okay, his shaltiu Lashem really means I'm lending him. But okay, to Hashem. Kol yamim asher hayam, all the days that he will be. Hu shaul laHashem, he will be borrowed to Hashem. Vayishtachu sham laHashem, and they bowed there before Hashem. He prostrated himself there before Hashem. So he bowed before Hashem. So Rashi explains, when a person lends the vessel to his Rav, or lends his son to service him, he is considered the borrowed thing, the ansho, which means that you, Eli, do not have the power to, or the permission to punish him. Hashem has made him as the borrower, because I lent to him, and it's on Hashem to return him to me. So you, Eli, do not have the power to do anything to him. And he bowed down. Who's the he? Who's the he in this case? Is it Shaul? Is it Shmuel? Is it Eli? Is it Elkanah? It doesn't say who bowed.
It seems like they're talking about Shmuel. It seems like we'd be continuing that same line. It would be him.
So Rashi says some people say it's Shmuel, and some people say it's Elkanah.
Really?
Right. Because who's bowing? Is it a 2-year-old bowing, or is it the father bowing? So Rashi goes, it gives you both opinions. Metzudas David says, and also in the time of prayer, Nadarti, I made a vow. As Shiloh the Shem, that I was lending to Hashem, hid boded tamid be'avodato, so that he could be alone or meditate. Hid boded, he would be talking to God continually in his service. So that's what Chana said in my prayer, that I would give this boy over. Asher haya k'mosh asher yiyah. So he says, by the way, if I would translate literally, it would have said, and also I am borrowed him to Hashem all the days that he was. He was. Asher Haya, that he was. Right?
Oh.
But you can't say that he was because he's 2 years old, he's going to live. So it's going to be that he will be. So Meshuz David says, Asher Haya, is kamo, it's as if it would say Asher Yihiyeh. That in other words, tense here doesn't mean anything. It means that it will be. Which means that all the time that he will be in this world, Hu Sha'ul Hashem. He will be borrowed to Hashem. Now this is a very important element in Torah or in Tanakh, that many times the word that we're using doesn't necessarily translate properly. Okay, and it's very important. I always told you, the rule is a rule until it's not. Okay, it's a really important rule to remember. And then it says, "Vayishtachu, vayishtachu sham Hashem." He bowed there to Hashem. Hashem. The bowing was to thank Hashem. Asher sham chalko mi'ovdei Hashem. That he put him his portion in this, from those who serve Hashem. So there, it would seem that the Meshuz David seems to be going with the opinion that it's Shmuel.
Yeah, I mean, it seems more logical.
Okay.
But it's talking about Shmuel. It's not talking about Elkanah at this point.
I understand what you're saying. I understand, and that's why everybody's first. But there's still an opinion that says it's Elkanah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So then Malbim finally says.
Oh, that was like in the earlier ones, and they prayed or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So finally it says V'gamanuch, and Malbim says. Did I miss something here? Oh, did I miss something? I'm sorry. Let me just pick it up then. It says, going on the previous pasuk, it says, this boy that I daven for, Elenar Azeh, Shuhu Yehiyah Zachar. Oh, I know I did that, right? Oh, I did that. Vayitin Hashem li, and so Hashem gave him to me, should take Hef, Natan Hashem Shelati. Immediately Hashem gave me my request. Lo avar zaman tefillah, and there was not a distance of time from a tefillah until I became pregnant. So this time the ulcer was caused, and he gave to me what that which I requested from him, but without an intermediary. It was only with chesed it's only with the kindness of Hashem. And then it says, also I lent him to Hashem. Milad Yishilutu hu ifil. That's in hif, the causative, meaning she'ela bakasha, from the matter of asking or requesting, but more, which means she'alti v'kashti Allah bavor tachlid. I asked and I requested from Hashem that this boy, the purpose of this boy should be she'el Hashem, that he would be for Hashem. V'al zeh tanai hitpalalti, and on this condition did I pray. Ki kol nadara be'er tefillah, because any neder, any vow that you make in the time of, that one makes in the time of tefillah, ubal tomar sha'amtin ad yigdal, and please don't tell me to wait until he grows up. V'ezet l'Hashem, and then you can give him to Hashem. Ki kol hayamim asher haya, all his days that he was, which means goyimim sheyeh, which really, again, Malbim's agreeing that does mean haya, but it means yehiyeh in this case, that he would be, but mitziyot achayim, in reality of the life, hu shall Hashem, he shall be borrowed to Hashem. Mikol eila, and from all these reasons, ra'oi shetikablu tekaf. It's fitting that you should take him immediately. V'gam yesh lefarish shorach limor shelo levad. And it's also explained that she wants to say, and not only this, but in the future, ki gam kol hayamim asher hayab ba'avor hu sha'ol Hashem, all his days would be that he, for the sake that he was borrowed to Hashem, ki higdishatov mileda, because he was sanctified from conception, umi betem, and from the womb, umi harayon, and from the birth. Shagam Mashikan Emaz Shanazir Haya Shmuel who Nazir Mibeten, like it says, but he was that Shmuel was a Nazir. He was a Nazir, a Nazirite from the womb. So if that's the case, he already is in your Eli. He's already in your reshut, your power. In other words, you already got him from the womb. You understand what she's saying? She's saying you can't tell me to take him home because that's not going to work. I can't take him home because the vow was that once he was born, I'm going to give him to you. So, and Hashem accepted that. It wasn't 20 years later that this happened. It was the next year. So actually, he went home, she got pregnant. So she's saying all this proves that it was directly because of the prayer, and therefore all of that comes to be. And so he was holy from the womb. If he's holy from the womb, so then you can't tell me to take him home. He has to stay here. And that's where we'll stop. We'll start, God willing, chapter 2 next week.